from earlier as we have had continuing coverage. This is video from earlier as we have had continuing coverage on the civil suit between Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard. Depp's suing Heard for defamation after she claimed she was in an abusive relationship. Today, Depp's private doctor testifying on a scary incident in 2015. In the past, Depp has accused Heard of throwing a vodka bottle at him. It broke, and he says it cut off part of his finger, but his doctor testified today saying the story has changed over time. Both Heard and Depp are expected to take the stand, some saying that Depp could be testifying tomorrow on the stand. There's Heard earlier walking out of the Virginia courthouse here. For some analysis, I want to bring in Kelly Hyman. She is with us here now. Kelly, thanks for joining us here on the stream. And there's a lot to talk about today, especially the testimony from his doctor there, and then word of that finger situation. So what stuck out to you the most in today's, again, second week of court? We're back after a long recess.
It's powerful testimony. So first off, we have to remember that the plaintiff who brought the case, Johnny Depp, has the burden of proof. So he has to prove that the fact that the case that he brought, that he has been harmed, right? That she made statements against him that defamed him, that harmed his credibility, his character. So I think what stuck out the most today, it was like the most powerful testimony that there was the fact about the finger, because everyone's wondering what happened with the finger. Is Johnny the instigator? Is he the one that's harming her? Or is she the one instigating the situation where she is the one harming him? There's testimony about him leaving rooms and she following him and going after him, but also about the fact about the finger, how he hurt his finger. Did she throw the bottle at him? Was she the aggressor, or did he smash it with a phone? But I think the key is to remember tomorrow that Johnny Depp is going to take the stand, and that's going to be powerful because it's going to be time for him to tell what really happened and plead his case to the jury.
Well, he's obviously going to plead his case, but we're expecting to hear from Heard too, and we could even hear from her directly afterwards. What's the strategy for bringing Johnny Depp up, for bringing her up as well?
That's an interesting point to bring up, and you bring up a really good point. So there's a strategy that goes into the idea of where you're going to place someone. And so maybe they're thinking at this place and time that they really want Johnny to take the witness stand, because we have to remember, when you testify, you are testifying under oath, under penalty of perjury. So you have to tell the truth that helps substantiate the fact that, in fact, Johnny's position is that she defamed him, that it wasn't, the statements that he made against her was not truthful statements. Now he's going to try and show his case. And so what they're planning to do is have him testify right then and there. And maybe they won't call Amber. Maybe they will. Maybe she'll testify her and her own defense. We'll have to see what happens. But it's an interesting strategy to have Johnny go so soon in the trial.
We obviously don't have a crystal ball, but what do you think he's going to say tomorrow?
I think he's going to plead his case. I think that since he brought the case, he wants to prove that, in fact, that he did not harm her, that he did not abuse her. And so the fact that she made statements, the fact that he was an abuser, physically abusing her, that those statements were false. And because of those false statements, he's been harmed economically, by his career, and also by his reputation as well. But we also have to remember that her defense, one of her defense is the truth. So if she asserts that it's truth and the jury believe her that what she said was true, then Johnny Depp will lose his case.
Well, as Johnny got into his car here, a seemingly happy guy, and that is something to watch as this is a televised case. We can see the cameras are inside. They can get the reaction from Heard, from Depp here. What has been your takeaway when it comes to that, just their responses and their facial expressions?
Well, I think that's key. I mean, we have to remember that this trial is like theater. It's a play. But this is these people's lives and affecting their lives. But they're actors. They know that they're being filmed. they're being watched. So they're constantly aware of it and making moves to come across that way, to be likable to people, to come out and wave to the people. They know that the cameras are in there and they're being watched, and that the jury's watching them every move that they make while they're sitting there, how they react to something, watching their body language. Does this bother them? Is this true? Because actually the jury's going to make a decision. They're going to look at these two people and make a determination on who they believe is more credible. So that's ultimately what it's going to come down to. Who do they ultimately believe? Are they going to believe Johnny and people that he's brought to testify to substantiate his claim? Or are they going to believe Amber, the fact that, no, these statements are actually true?
Well, it wasn't just his doctor who was on the stand today. His bodyguard, who is seemingly the most close person to him, also sharing stories and his opinion of the relationship between Depp and Heard. And he said that a lot of the fights were initiated by Heard.
Yes, I think that's very, very powerful testimony to help prove the fact that Johnny did not do this, that he wasn't a wife beater, that he didn't harm her, that she was the aggressor, especially like with the finger, that she allegedly threw the bottle at him, and that she was constantly chasing him and being the aggressor in the situation. So I think that was key testimony. Now we think about, well, all these people that are testifying are really help support Johnny's case. Well, that's exactly, this is the plaintiff's case and they have the burden. So they bring witnesses to help substantiate their claim. And the other side will try and discredit whatever possible they can by saying statements are not correct, or that someone's loyal to someone, that they're really good friends and they have a special relationship with them, or that they're helping them out financially, whether helping them with their housing or still working for them. So it shows that people are biased, so the jury can say, oh, well, this person said this, but actually they're biased because this person's writing a check for them every month because they still work for them.
Right. Yeah, they're actively employed by Depp. At least his doctor is, which plays a role, I'm sure. Well, in watching all of this, Kelly, how do you think both sides are doing? Who do you think is kind of winning at this point?
Honestly, it's hard to tell. I mean, ultimately, the jury's gonna weigh the evidence and look at it and make a determination. I believe in our jury system. But I think that Johnny is presenting his case, whether it's to the jurors or to the American people, to help revise his career and to help say, hey, I didn't do this. And so it's a court also of public opinion of what the American people think. Do they think that he did this, or do they believe her? So it plays out in the courtroom. We're watching it live. And I think we have to wait to the bitter end to see ultimately what happens.
Right. And I mean, this isn't his first go round. There's been legal action in the past. So they're probably trying to, take some other angles here, restructure what their strategy is going to be. What does preparation typically look like when you're about to take the stand tomorrow and try to prove to the jury that your story is the truth?
It takes a lot of work, because you want to make sure that someone is really prepared for the questions that are going to be asked, not just from your side, but also from the other side, because we have to remember that the plaintiff will take the witness stand and testify, but then the other side, the defendant, Amber's attorneys, gets a chance to cross-examine him. And that's really powerful, because Johnny Depp's team doesn't know exactly what they're going to ask. And so he needs to be ready. But as an actor and someone that's done theater, being quick on your feet and being in the moment, and these actors are very, very good at that. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm real excited to see Johnny take the stand tomorrow and see what happens. I'm sure he's going to tell a compelling story, because he's an actor, a very gifted actor, and will get his day in court.
Yeah, well, he is waiting. He is preparing. We are ready. We are preparing for tomorrow, hopefully, to hear from him, and then some interesting testimony to come from Amber Heard's side in the future, as this trial is set to last a couple of weeks. Kelly Hyman, thank you so much for being with us here on the show. We appreciate your analysis, as always.
Thank you. Be safe. Stay healthy. God bless.
Thank you. You too.